Morning everybody, it's the Tuesday after the bank holiday and I am at a lovely property today for the rest of the week actually. How's about that for a garden, eh? Incredible, absolutely beautiful place. And I've got the key, the people have gone away and I've got the key for a week. So I'm just going to go and walk with the tomatoes. Tomatoes. Got another can here. Let's take you back a bit. That's it. It's really quite warm today, I think so. Let's put a bit on these as well. Got all the veg growing along here. Sort of veg, strawberries and figs and all sorts, and then obviously more there. Some lovely flowers down there. I don't know if there's a couple of fruit trees going up that wall. More veg here. I think the man that has got this house, I think he's more of a fruit and veg grower. They look like all berries to me. But yeah, what a garden, eh? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Little wormhole, look. Ant's nest, sorry, not a wormhole, ant's nest. Let's have a look at the job. Let's see, get a nice close up there. Don't worry about sound because I can just cut the sound out and edit it, but you just get actually what this is doing.
Das Tischbetrachtung. Genau.
Right, so most of the work is in this room. I was in this room yesterday. I was turning you around. I'll show you what went on yesterday. So yesterday, I brought the wife to work and got her on the paintbrush, and we jumped in here. And this room was all like a yellowy cream as this room. So let me show you what it was. It was all like this old, I don't know, like a yellow cream, buttermilk, whatever you want to call it. And this room has been painted. So the ceilings again, the same colour as the walls. The walls are all over the place, got lining paper and like old chases put in and stuff. Obviously I did offer the people that I would strip all this, but they're not too worried. I think the lady just uses this as a bit of a room for when the ladies come round, play a few games, have a tea and cakes and stuff. So she just wanted it brightened up really. So wasn't too much filling to do. I've put a bit of filler down there, which is all needs rubbing back. A little bit of filling around there. And yes, we just painted this yesterday, so it's all going to need another coat. The back wall's being papered, and the paper is a similar colour to that. She's had it, got it mixed almost to the same colour as the paper, really, which is good because that wall was like a deep red colour. So I don't know if anyone, if you know, when you wallpaper, if you can paint the back wall almost the same colour as your paper, then if there is any chance of a joint opening up a touch, you're not going to see another colour through that joint. You've got that as like a bit of a backup, really. Not that there should be any joint come through, but you just don't know, do you? You don't know what goes on with things when they start drying and shrinking. So anyway, that's that. So there's not a great deal to do in this room, really. Just a bit of, I'm going to cut all the carpet back. The carpets are going. So I'm going to cut 2 inches round from skirting, and then have a good sand down on these skirting boards, hoover up, and then I'll spray a primer undercoat on all these first. They want it finished in traditional gloss, which is fine. Not a problem. I enjoy using a bit of that because you know what it does. And in this room, again, all to be decorated in that same colour. Walls, ceilings are same colour. The ceilings aren't being touched plaster wise. I mean, there's some horrible cracking going on and bowing, and obviously they know that, the people, they're not stupid, they live here, but they just want it a colour change. So obviously I'll put a bit of flexible decorators caulk in that and try and get this paper back a bit, but no, they don't want it sort of too much fuss made. So this has all got to be cleaned up with a brick cleaner. I don't know what's happened. I think they've had water come down here and obviously soot, and it's stained all this. So I've got some brick cleaner, I've got my Aquavac, so I shall be doing that as well. This old window board needs a bit of pointing in there. And apparently the story is with these boards, with this board certainly, and this great big long window board, they come from an old bit of like sleeper, like a pile that was pulled out of the Thames years ago when they was doing all the docks up. Years and years ago. And I'm not sure how the man got hold of it. Maybe he was involved in that sort of build or the project. But anyway, they had it all cut down to different sizes. So this bit of wood on here apparently was under the Thames for God knows how many years as some sort of pile thing, and now it's all cut down on here. And look at that, it is still as straight, well, straighter than anything you'd buy in a bloody builder's merchants today. Look, dead flat all the way. You wouldn't believe that's been under the Thames for God knows how long. So it's really nice. So I don't think this is bowed. I just think that the pointing has just crumbled away over years. Same with that window board. That window board is as flat as you like. And it's all from the same timber. So that has just got to be sanded back and then just have a clear varnish on it. Make it look nice. And then the only sort of bit of plastering work for me is down here really. I think they had some damp work done in here. They said maybe about 20 years ago they had this damp proofed. Probably the old injection system, I would imagine. And obviously something's failed. This is damp here. Like this whole skirting is had it. So originally he said just take that bit of skirting out, but I'm going to take it all out all the way down. I'm going to remove this skirting all the way, and that skirting's gone up to about there as well. Look, it's all rough. So I'm not going to try and piece it in. I'll remove all that as well, and then I'll just fit new skirting on that. I'm not going to even try and piece them bits up really. That wall is a bit in and out, but don't blame me for that. I've not been here before for plastering, but there's a big bow in there, so they did have it all done years ago. But yeah, I'll probably just take that run of skirting completely out. I don't know if I can get exactly the same profile, and I'm not going to hunt about everywhere for it. So I'll just get a new bit, and then I'm going to chase a bit of plaster out there. He's asked me just to cut a bit out, just to see if there's anything going on where this sort of damp section is. So there's a bit of a line there. So what I'm going to do is I'll take a bit up just round there, and then instead of putting it back with solid plaster, I'll use a bit of the foam with a bit of plasterboard and bed it back on, just so no damp can potentially draw through the foam. Then plaster that up, skirting and paint. So yeah, more of a decorating job than anything. A few fiddly bits, but a lovely place to be, especially when you can sit and have your little bit of lunch out there. Look, how gorgeous. Right, first thing we're going to do is cut sort of 2 inch perimeter all around this carpet, because the carpet's going, thank God, which is always a bonus on any decorating job. So we're going to cut that around, then we can give all these skirtings a good sand down and have a good hoover up, then get all the dust out of the way, and then I can spray a coat of primer on them all then. So let's do that now. Little tip, before you just start running Stanley knives through carpets, just lift them up and have a look, because a lot of times you're going to get communication cables running along here, and they're so easy to cut through, so you don't want to be doing that. So just get your knife, just pull it back a bit and have a look, just make sure there's nothing there. There's quite a few ants there, so they're coming out. Right, this is a very old carpet and it's almost quite cardboardy, so it's going to cut nice and easy. Right, now you can see what I can see here, but I've built it up with some sort of batten. I'll take all that off. There's obviously some sort of damp issue here. So I don't know what I'm got to find under here, but I don't want it too much fuss made of all this. I just want it sorted out. So we'll keep cutting this carpet out and seeing what this is happening there. Must have been there for years, all this stuff. Must have been there for years and years. This carpet's got to be 30 years old, surely. Might even be when they moved in. I mean, I think they've lived here since about 1983. So it could be as old as that. But I'm going to take all this skirting off all the way through. See what's going on behind there at level. Hack that plaster out. And we'll see what we got. But at the moment it's as a surprise to me as it is to you. Let's move this sander. Ooh. It's sort of like a good big sand if you're decorating, if you're just giving a job a repaint rather than a replaster. You know, you plug it into your Festool or whatever you got and turn it on, and obviously that's just a big sander really. All the dust just goes through the hose into the thing. But you'd be surprised how many nibs and heads and things it takes off you, because you can't really see it. We're looking at it like that, but once that's been over it, you'll see all them spots come back where, you know, probably the old colour will be showing for underneath, and you realise you took the high spots down. It does make a big difference as well. And some would say I would need it after I've plastered a room as well, but let's not go there, eh? Let's not go there. So, telly, who's that in the mirror? There he is. Right, so this is all got to come forward. Let's drag this over here. Lovely, right. So all I've got to do is get a load of plastic and sheet that up then. Obviously cover this up, but I ain't got to worry so much. Right. Okay, let's get on with this. Let's see what little delights we're going to find down here. What the hell? So I think them wood, that is just a packer for what was here. There's something there, I don't know what it is. It's like big thick ceramic, is it? Cork? I don't really know what it is. It's definitely damp down here. Yeah, I've ripped the whole bit of skirting off, I think. Right, let's have a look at this. Wow. Yeah, look at that, look. So I took all the skirtings off all the way along there. They weren't too bad along here. They were rotten along here, along there and there. So I've just hacked the plaster off with my Keita thing. Just up to there. This is what he asked for. He just asked for me to just like have a look what's going on there. So let's get you down here. These bricks are sort of all over the place. I might dab them out a bit. I don't know, I might just foam the plasterboard on, just eliminate any sort of damp coming through. The damp seems like it was right at the very bottom anyway. So what I'll do is, I won't obviously put anything back there, I'll leave that as a gap, but there was some old bits coming down, which I've just took away so it doesn't make any sort of bridge for it. I'll do the same now, put plasterboard on it, obviously, leaving it off the floor. And looks like I've got to change this back box as well. Look at that. That's really had some water eating that over time, hasn't it? Some dampness. I don't think there's much left of that, is there? Right, I've run out of foam, so, well, I have got a foam somewhere, a tin of it. It must be on another job. So anyway, I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to go and get a tin of foam now just for that. I can stick that first thing tomorrow. And actually, I've got to go and look at a job first thing tomorrow. But what I can get on with now, it's only 1 o'clock. This is all had a rub down and a hoover up. All the grippers have been taken up. So what I'm going to do is I will, this isn't the Makita, it's my little sprayer, my little power, what they call it, 1 power shot or whatever. So I'm going to just put a bit of masking down around there and then around on this step, and I will give that a spray of that nice good primer, water-based prime sealer, stain killer, and sort of primer undercoat stuff. Actually, I've got some of this left as well, so but I'll probably spray it with that. Nowadays I always just use the good stuff really. I don't really go for anything crap cheap make anymore. It's generally the Zinza. This stuff's alright, but more often than not it'll be a Zinza product really. And anything else that's good I can get my hands on. The people have been using this paint, so they've bought the proper trade paint, which is gone on lovely in here yesterday. I sprayed all these covings. I rolled the ceiling because my big sprayer's out of action. So, but I sprayed all the covings. They come out lovely. Just a quick spray. So for anyone that ain't seen these things, these sprayers, little battery operated by DeWalt batteries, which you get with it. You get 2 when you buy it. It's the little Graco quick shot, ultra shot, quick shot. I'm not sure what it's called. What's it called? Ultra quick shot. And absolutely fantastic. Now I've just done the coving and I've just brought the wall line down, brought the ceiling line in, and that's taken me probably about 2 minutes just to knock that out. I've sprayed the skirtings with a primer undercoat. I've primer undercoated the radiator, and I'll show you this little thing. It's so easy to use. Now look, that took what, 10 seconds. But what it's great for, I find, is the covings. Because you know what they're like when you put them on with a brush, you tend to pull, you're pulling out the corner with a brush. and you have to do it again and again. This, it's literally once and they're done. This curtain rail's going, so don't slate me for not covering up the curtain rail. I'll just show you this. So, okay, let's go. There you go. That coving won't need anything else now. Let's move along a bit. They're about £1,000, but if you're doing a lot of painting, they really are nice. And it's not just about the speed of it, it's the way the paint lays after, because what it does, it atomises it into, you know, obviously atomical numbers, whatever that may be. And then it just lands back on, and then it just dries in one. So you never get any brush mark in it, you never get any streaks, any lines. Once you get the hang of them, you'll never look back. Great for little furniture projects as well, if you're painting, you know, an old cabinet or something like that. If you're into all that buying and flipping. Absolutely beautiful, right. A little bit more here. And that's it. That is the coving in this room done. Obviously you get different size tips for different paints, for different thicknesses of paints, different fan widths and things like that. So it's really versatile. I've been in here, cutting this carpet back, taking all the grippers up, rubbing down the skirtings. They've all had a spray with a primer undercoat. This door frame as well, all had a fill yesterday, filled all that down there. That's all had a primer undercoat. That's all had a primer undercoat. That just needs some caulk in it when that's gone, and then same down there. And we can start glossing that. Okay, so I just went around all the walls with the sprayer. I left the ceiling because I've got to pick up some polythene sheet just to chuck across this lot. So I went around all the walls with that little sprayer. Just went around the edge. I didn't go too far over because I don't want to get none on this window. This is a lovely sort of frame here. So I'll do all that with a brush tomorrow and the roller. But yeah, just to chuck it on, you can see what it puts on, a lovely sort of atomised coat. And it'll dry in so nicely. Just try and get you down there and all along here. You can see how wet it stays. I mean, it's still wet. You couldn't do that with a roller. If you rolled that and then right round to there, it would probably be drying off at that end. But you can see how much paint it puts on in one go. And that will dry in flatter. It looks a bit mottled at the minute, but it won't. As it dries, it will flatten off. Yeah, so that's been good. So not a bad day today. So tomorrow I'll be getting on with certainly that, getting that all plastered in. I'll put a new back box on there and socket on that. I'll pick that up tonight. And it's all about timing this job. And then I shall jump in here and get all this skirting glossed. They want proper gloss on here, so I've just got like a Dulux gloss. I've got half a tin of the, where are we? The ones, that's alright, that gloss, that ain't too bad. I might thin it down a touch, got some thinners, it's been in the van, sitting there for a long time. Sand that radiator back and get a coat on that. And then once these are glossed and dried, and these walls are just quickly touched up, then I can wallpaper this wall, and that's this room done. So I'm trying to balance drying time between this room and that room. So I'm trying to work the two rooms together. So by the end of play tomorrow, I want that all glossed in there, that all plastered, all this painted again, another coat on all this, get all the ceilings done. And then that brings me to Wednesday, and then Thursday I'll get all these skirtings on. I'll go and pick them up, get them on. But obviously I'm going to board that and skim it. So we haven't got no backing plaster to wait to dry. It's just going to be a finish on top, which shouldn't be that thick, so that should dry off all right. So I'm going to pick up some foam. I mean, there's some deep bits in there. I might even double board it, but I want to use the foam and board. I don't want to use dot and dab. I don't want to use adhesive. I don't want any chance that anything can leach through into it and then go into the board. So I might, it's quite deep, so it may even, yeah, I might do a double layer of foam and board on that just to bring it out. Anyway, that's enough waffle. I'll catch you tomorrow. Same place, same time.